I think it's already 10 o'clock, but I think on our list we have about 50, over almost 60. Shall we wait for another 2 minutes? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Right. Okay. We have it's 10:05. Should we start now, or what do you think? We have about. I think they would come in a bit.
I see we have about 26 people. I don't mind. We take a few more minutes and then we can just warm up because, we can introduce first and then it takes some time for them to come, more people to come in.
Okay. Yes. For others too. Yeah. So should we wait for
3 to 5 minutes?
Yep. Okay. So yeah. So hope others one mind about this. Just for the benefit for others, staff and student as well. We try to get as many people to come in as possible. For those who, I think another 25 expressed their interest of being in this section. So we wait for them for a while. Yep.
I think meanwhile, I would also like to say greeting to everyone that's here on time. I really appreciate your presence here today. And I look forward to really have a meaningful discussions together about, to me, I think it's a very crucial topic at this time. But meanwhile, also, you may get yourself a drink, find yourself some comfort in the space that you're in. And if you have any questions, feel free to start the conversation. I'm all here. So yes, good morning, Effendi. Yes. Thank you so much. So how do I pronounce? Is it okay? Because I'm not familiar. Can you help me? Is it Aquel or Aquel? You can unmute. Let's just have a conversation together. Okay, so I think there'll be a number of names that I see on the screen. I'll do my best to pronounce it right when we get to talk together. But if in case I don't, please forgive me, and you can correct me, because I would love to learn to pronounce your name right.
That would be Akil.
Oh,
It's Akil.
Akil. Okay. Nice to know you. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Perhaps we could clarify that for Malaysian Malays people, our name come first and our surname come later.
Thank you so much.
Right. So our names would be on the first and our surname would be later. But for Chinese, for Malaysian Chinese, that would be their first name would be their surnames and their name come later. For
Okay.
Malaysian Muslim Malays and Indian, our name come first and our that would be the difference. I
Okay.
hope it's clarified.
Yes, it really helps me.
Yeah.
But I'm seeing your name on the screen as well, but I can't see it fully. So
Uh,
can I also get your name?
my name is Nora Miza.
All right. It's very nice to
Miza.
know you. Thank you for the
Yeah.
conversation.
All right.
So Noramiza.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. Okay. So maybe while you are waiting for others, I might probably just give an introductions to our speakers today. Right. So a very good morning to all MMU staff and students who attend this research webinar organized by MMU's Center of Research in Knowledge and Innovations Management. And it's my great honors to introduce to you all our special guest speakers today, Miss Carrie Lan. So she will give us a talk with a title of Self-Connection during COVID-19 pandemic. So let me just give you a short introduction about our speaker today. Ms. Karilan, she is a professional therapist and counselor. Uh, she has had a lot of people and many people from various parts of the world, such as Vietnam, Malaysia, India, France, or Australia, through her social work and counseling services. She is currently a co-founder of Mindfulness Podcast. You can actually go and visit her podcast. And this podcast aims to help many young adults to experience meditations, authentic conversations, and deeper self-connection. So she also a leader at Association for Contextual Behavioral Science. She is a very active social worker who deeply cares for social well-being and human connection. So if you want to know more about her, you can probably go to visit her website, and that is in the flyers that I posted earlier. With that, I hope that without further ado, I think I would pass the sections to you, Miss Kerila.
All right, thank you so much for the introduction, Dr. Lan Nguyen. And I see people are still coming in, so let's just have these few minutes to get to know each other more and to get into the topics of today. And I actually had a presentation, so I think I would start sharing screen. Does that mean that Dr. Lan, you would? All right.
I will stop sharing my screen over here. Then
Okay.
you can start doing that. Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, I would like to just get to know everyone. As for myself, my name is Carrie Lan. You can see over here, and when people look at my name, they normally wonder where I come from because am I Vietnamese? Where I come from? So actually, I was born in Vietnam, but I came to Malaysia when I was 9. And I stayed here to do my higher study, my high schools and then my degrees. And then I came back to Vietnam when I was in my mid 20s. So I kind of spent more time living in Malaysia compared to Vietnam, And so when I went back to Vietnam, I really miss a lot of Malaysian food, like nasi lemak and satay, And when I came back to Malaysia this time, I actually ate chicken rice for the whole month. So that shows how much I'm connected to Malaysia, but at the same time, appreciating my roots. So if you have not come to Vietnam, or if having some visit in Vietnam, I hope you had a good experience and welcoming you back to Vietnam because we are so close. We are like neighbors. And if you were to ask me, I feel like I belong to two countries. And so as I get to, being in two different places in my life, at some time I really come back to connect to myself and wonder, who am I, and what is true to my roots. And through that journey, I have discovered that self-connection and understanding ourselves is so important in any situation, but specifically in the space that we are in right now during the COVID-19 pandemic. It is a shared, you know, a shared situation that we are all in together. And given the situation that we are in, then why is it important that we, take this time to even come back more to ourselves and to find that self-connection? I think of this topic something like, let's say have a cut on your hand. And if you know how to take care of that cut, then there is less risk of having further problems like infection or spreading out or having a bad scar, And so if we were to know the situation we're in, and then we know how to take care of ourselves, then the risk and this well-being can be better taken care of. Or like, for example, if we're traveling on the road, just as all of us are on our own journey, and we happen to see maybe an accident on the road, and if we have certain awareness of how to take care of the situation, maybe we know the nearby hospitals, the police phone number, or a mechanic, we can offer help to the people that we meet along the journey. So the objective of today's conversation is really to acknowledge the situation that we're in and how we can better care for ourselves and also offer that understanding and that care for the people that's around us. And as I work a lot with youngsters, young adults, as Dr. Lan has mentioned, I experienced that young adults are very creative. They are very smart within their internal thinking. Sometimes they don't speak it. And I've learned so much from youngsters. And then I went on to my academic work recently, and I met a lot of academicians. And I have so much respect for the lecturers, the people who commit their life in learning and sharing knowledge to youngsters. And it's just really a great honor today to get in touch and connect with you. Whether you are respected lecturers who are here to care for the students or for the people around, or even yourself, or the students who are here to understand themselves better. So let's start off with the topic. I would like to invite us to just kind of get in touch into some of the ideas that I want to bring up today. So our space today will be inclusive of 3 main points. The first point that I believe is so important to acknowledge, because we talk so much about self-love, self-care, how can I have a better well-being, but then behind it, what is it that needs care? What is it that is calling our attention because it is not feeling well inside? And I would like to sum that up in a word of disconnection. And I will share more and how this part inside of us, the sense of feeling a loss of connection, is at a bigger threat in moments of crisis. And then we go deeper into, well, then how do I connect? Because sometimes it's very normal and even healthy to have these connections, and I would share more with you. But then given that situation, then how do I connect again? And if I live a life that's more connected to myself, then how would that empower my life? How would that shape my life, and in return empower other people's life? So these are the 3 key points that I would do my best to share with you in simple, non psychologist terms. So then I hope also to get your feedback, to learn more about you, so that the information I share could serve you as an individual, and you could take something home and just hopefully being able to put some of this practice that I shared today. Okay, so given the context that we are shaping, the space of the topics that we would zoom ourselves to focus in, and acknowledging that this space is going to be a safe space for us to just open our heart, open our mind, and allow ourselves to explore for ourselves, I would like to invite us to just check in with ourselves in this moment. Just notice where you are sitting. Maybe you're in your room, sitting on a chair or on a bed, on the floor, I don't know. It's just you as you are. And checking in, how are you feeling in this moment? The first thing that comes into your mind, it does not have to be right or wrong, just a natural feeling that you are feeling right now. So for me, I'm feeling a sense of excitement. Yes. Tired. Yes, I did have a sense of tiredness too this morning, so great. Hope, thank you so much. Yes, feeling good. Wonderful. Happy. Thank you. A little bit overwhelmed. Thank you so much for just sharing into the space how you're doing. Sense of relief, a bit anxious. Tired due to lack sleep that makes 2 of us. That is wonderful. Feeling great. Not sure why. Tired? I resonate to this. Right, waking up from a dream, still sleepy, but brain is waking up. I hear hope again. I don't care, my son says of himself. Yes. I hear tiredness, lack of sleep, waking up from sleep, anxious, but then there is hope, there's sense of tiredness. Okay, I'm sensing we are in this common place together that as you keep texting in, I feel it very familiar to myself, and I sense that maybe most of us know how some of these feelings, if not all of these feelings, sometimes feel for us, and it is only normal. So as we're getting in touch with ourselves, and as I'm reading your message, I would like to share with you, start off with this video. It's just a 30-second video, very quickly, to get in touch of why we are feeling the way we are feeling, why we're in the place we are in. So let's have a moment as you're getting in touch with yourself. Continue to do so. Allow yourself to be, whether that's tired, whether that is, a sense of hope, whatever it is that you're feeling, it's okay. Let it be. And as we open ourselves to the topic, okay, I don't know if you can see. Okay. So this is a video of a flower that's blooming. As you can see, slowly in its environment, in its space, beautiful as all flowers are. And it's just taking its time, opening itself, growing and thriving as all flowers do. So given a quick short video about
You all hold on for a second, sir. I think there's some technical problem from her side. Yeah.
Okay, you see, it's very normal to sometimes break down. Even computers who don't have so much complex feelings can break down, you see. So I'm back. I hope everyone can hear me. So I'm going to share my screen again, and we're going to continue. All right. Yes, so continuing with this blooming flower, why I take a flower? Because a flower, a living being like all of us, animals or, humans, we are living in an environment and we thrive based on the environment we are living in. Imagine that beautiful flower was actually put into a fridge. Do you think it can, bloom the way it does? Or maybe, somebody who is naughty and bring that flower into a microwave. Imagine if that flower will survive. And I'm being extreme, but basically what I'm saying is even this simple flower needs the right environment to thrive. If it was to bring to a different weather environment, a different country, maybe it would face struggle. And yes, I would send you the video maybe later because I am sharing screen, but I appreciate you letting me know what what you've missed out. So where I'm coming from is we are a product of our environment. And it is very natural that sometimes when our environment is facing a certain crisis, it's not at its best place, that we too may feel stress in return. But different from a flower, we humans have what we call a brain. And so this brain makes it a little bit different because we don't contact directly with our environment, but we have a censoring agent through our senses that is filtered through a brain. And so how would that change the environment we are living in? And I would like to give a very simple example. So let's say this is our brain, right? So inside our brain, it actually automatically categorizes different belief systems so that we can respond to situations immediately. So it makes us functional. But what happened is, because it makes into categories, only the things that fit in those categories are censored in and can be noticed by our brain. So let's say I have an idea that I'm not good enough, and I look outside at others and I see some people who are better than me, then it fit into my system that that person is better, and so I can see that information. Sometimes we can see, oh, I'm better than others, because we have this idea of I'm not good enough. So that means there's something good, it means there's something not good. And we receive all this information. But with the same idea, if somebody says that you're beautiful, or somebody says, calm down, it's okay. When you're very anxious, you don't feel good enough. And then they say, you are good enough. And some of those ideas don't fit into our category. It's hard to believe. Then it doesn't go in. And so we are living in an environment like a flower, like all beings, but not everything can enter into our inner environment. Only the things that fit into our system, in the things we believe is true. And so what happened is, our sensory inputs, we take a lot of information in, but it goes through a hub inside the brain that censor out and cut off the stories that doesn't fit inside our perception. And basically, even though we're living in an environment, we're actually living inside an inner environment, inside the interpretation of our past learnings, or in another word, we are just living inside our own worlds, and that become the environment for us. And to acknowledge that the brain is only taking a very small percent of the whole weight of our body system, but it takes over 20% of the energy on an average. So if you ever find yourself, as some of us check in today, that you woke up, it's a Friday morning, and then you're feeling so tired, because probably inside us, we are living inside certain environment inside our system that even if we're resting, it's burning. It's burning, yes. It becomes our reality inside, and it is constantly burning our energy. And so, given the understanding that different from a flower, different from a rock or a piece of wood, we humans have a complex inner thoughts that creates our systems. We are currently in a pandemic, as you can see, where there is a bombard of news throughout the world about infections, threats. We open the news, there's so many threatening, panicking news. We're receiving death news, not to say some of us are experiencing it through the people we actually know. And all these things place a lot of pressure within our internal systems. And then we go out, we have to wear masks, we have to distance ourselves. There are things that we wish would be better, but it's not. There's a sense of anger, disappointment, all different kind of emotion that's not even related to us. It's not directly in our life, but it's surrounding us. It creates a sense of uncertainty. And so even if, some of us or many of us here are students, it's very normal that we have this sense, because even adults, feels this too. But the important thing to acknowledge here is uncertainty is the biggest reason why a person feels anxious. And so there is a research that's carried out in the mid of last year that found out that for Malaysian students, the rise of anxiety level has been increasing. And what is anxiety? Anxiety basically is when you don't have things in control and you do not know what's going to happen. It's very uncertain and you feel scared that maybe there is a risk, and then you feel very anxious, which is a very normal thing for a human reaction. Even today when I come for the talk, because I don't know what's going to happen, there's a sense of anxiousness in me. My heart is beating faster. And, it just pushes me to wake up a little bit earlier, prepare for my talk, think about how I can connect with everyone better. So it's a good thing. But anxiety becomes a problem when our internal system has too much thread, but we are uncertain of how it will turn out. And then it spikes up the level of anxiety. And do you know that there are 8 types of different anxiety, and all of it has to do with relation with maybe I cannot control something in my life. For example, OCD is an anxiety because I cannot control the cleanliness of my life, or panic attack is an anxiety because I cannot control the fear that I'm feeling in that moment. But today I want to highlight one of the 8 anxiety, which is called the high functioning anxiety. So this type of anxiety is when a person is performing very normally. They're going to the university, they're attending class, they're performing the tasks that's given, everything looks normal. And even in the case of high anxieties, many of these people are high performers because they're so anxious, they become perfectionists. They become focused into making sure things will work out well. So they're performing. But deep down, there is this sense that I just don't feel confident. I'm scared. I feel so nervous. I wish I can hide. I wish I don't have to go into that situation. And then when the situation comes, okay, I have to go in. And then they push themselves to perform. And it continuously following them for days, for weeks, for months, for years, many people for their whole life. And it gets to a point where it is overwhelming, it's too tiring. And the fact that they push themselves so hard and the system will crash. So I want to acknowledge it's very normal if we feel anxious, but noticing how this anxiety is taking place. And if it's following us constantly, are we having balance in our life? It's very important because it can turn to be a disorder. And given the context, the uncertainty is the biggest reason people turn anxious. This is something we can take note, to acknowledge, and to kind of be carefully reflect what's going on in our life. But that's not all. The same situation that we are in, this beautiful flower that is in this situation, but with a brain, given a heightened isolation. And many people think that, teenagers or young adults, they don't have so much stress in terms of responsibilities, in terms of finance, in terms of taking care of others. But actually, this situation that we're in is very stressful for young adults because this is the age for them to feel validated, to have peer relations, to feel acknowledged when they show up, dressing up, speaking to friends. Friends are the only place or the common place that they can exchange ideas and get affirmation. And this is also the age when, being able to be seen, to get hugs, to be touched, to have a sense of flirting, a very normal development stage, to sense who's my potential date. Those are things that's very healthy. But now it's all cut down, shut off. And the only thing that's within the studying scope is continuing assignments, continuing exams and deadlines, staying rigid in front of a Zoom, or a Google chat, and just staying in there, it's very tiring. So I'm not surprised if some of us say, or many of us say, you're tired. If not, maybe a sense of pressure. It's normal to even feel lonely, lost, and stuck. Have many questions in our mind, don't know how to answer. So what this does is, the biggest reason why people fall into what we call depression is because of the down mood, a drop of mood, leading to a sense of sadness, tiredness, lack of energy, depressed. And people might think depression and anxiety are two different things, but actually, when a person is depressed, they always have anxiety. These two things always goes together. And this is a recent survey that says out of 1,000 Malaysians, 45% experience some sort of anxiety and depressions. And it is, I want to acknowledge that it is normal. It is not something about we are not strong enough or we are not resilient enough. When I go onto Facebook or talk to my friends, they're still laughing. Why am I feeling down? It is actually very normal because of the context situation that we are in. So given the topic of depression, there are also 8 types of depression, but I'm just going to highlight the high functioning depression. And this is important because just like anxiety, people can feel really down and tired and sad and just, oh, I don't care about anything, please leave me alone. But then they can still function. They can still finish the assignment, they can still turn up for the exam, but it is a lot of effort to push themselves to be in that level. And then after each time they push, they would feel exhausted. And if we know this is the pattern, then we know it's normal. And then how can we offer care for ourselves? If these are some of the things that we may sometimes, if not often, experience. And to continue, given the context we're in, many people think young adults are, having the time of their life in their own world. They don't understand much. But in my experience, when I work with couples, many times I have to bring in the children. And I would ask the children, can you help me to describe the relationship of your parents at home or your relationship with your parents at home? And the surprising thing is many of these children can describe about their parents even better than their parents talking about each other. And where I'm coming from is we as humans have the ability to absorb our surroundings, even though we don't notice it or we don't talk about it. So if we are living in a situation where our family members are stressed, where there is economic crisis, maybe there's financial struggles, maybe there are loss in job hours, in pay, check in job opportunities. And it's hard to resolve these issues. We can't communicate about it. Normally, young people would have a sense of, I just can't do anything, a sense of helplessness. And all this add to a lot of stress. The stress to cope with isolation, with economic hardships, with connection with the people around us, how to communicate with them, how to show them how I feel when I'm scared to be judged, when I don't want to add pressure to the people I love. And all these things, even though we don't get to talk much, it is stressful. And stress is normal. It is even healthy because it pushes us to be creative, innovative, find a solution. And that's called eustress. But if a stress is prolonged, 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month, 2 months, it becomes distress because it burns out too much of our energy and it breaks down our body system. And then it creates problem for our internal environment. Inside ourselves, there's toxics. And then a lot of dysfunctional or limitation things happen. And we feel like, why I can't perform like my colleague? Why I can't get better mark like my friends? Or why I just don't care about my work because I just want to rest? So landing to where I'm speaking here, I want to acknowledge that the environment we are living in is very important, but for a human with a brain, the environment is everything that's inside ourselves. Our thoughts, our feelings, our bodily sensations, those create our inner world, which is basically our world. And so what do we do when sometimes we don't feel well? When it is normal that we don't feel well, that we do struggle at some point or at something inside. Should we hide it? Should we pretend that everything is okay? Should we keep pushing, burning our system, using all our energy, knowing that something in us may need some rest, may need some care? What should we do? And in here, I want to touch something very important. I think if you can take away something important in today's talk, is this one. That when we are stressed, our brain has a natural mechanism to disassociate the situation and ourselves. I give an example. If you really study so hard for your exam paper, let's say, and then you come into exam, even if it's an open book exam, and then the moment you see the exam questions, for a split second, you just go blank. You have no idea how to answer this. Even if you know you have the book, and maybe some people take a longer time, 30 minutes, to calm down and to connect again. And, in life, we may experience loss, we may experience overwhelmness. For example, if you just, let's say, break up with your girlfriend or boyfriend as a youngster, it's not an easy experience. It can feel overwhelmed. And some of us may experience, you don't feel anything when you break up for the first day, 2 days, even a month. Sometimes I've met with clients who didn't feel anything for 5 years. And then one day they just burst into tears, feeling that loss and grief. Because it's very natural for us to disassociate with the pain so we can cope with it slowly. And it is also very healthy to have that mechanism, because sometimes things are just too much, but we still have to function. So we take it easy, making it our brain help us to feel less by disconnecting ourselves and the world. But the danger of disconnection, if we don't know and we just let it flow, is the first thing is we can never forget what we have already experienced. So let me give a question. Can you remember what you ate for breakfast yesterday morning? Let's see, what did I eat? Okay, what did you had? Okay, nothing, no problem. If you remember, what did you have? Oatmeal, okay. Anyone else? Cake, coffee, yes. All right. Yes. Okay, I'm looking on the other side because I have my iPad on, so protein powder, yes, I had that this morning. All right, can you remember one moment, yesterday, any moment, one incident, whether happy, whether sad, one thing? Okay, take that moment, notice it. What is that moment? Where is the location? What did you wear in that moment? Just notice some details. All right, that's good. Now, can you delete that memory? Delete what you ate yesterday morning. Delete that moment you just remember. Can you delete it now? If only it was that easy. Exactly. Can anyone? Yes. No, no. Okay. Some says can. I would love to learn from you how you delete. Um, yes, if you have a computer chips. All right. Many times we think we forget about what we have experienced. But do you know that in my work, I often bring people back to their childhood, and there are techniques to come back to our memory, and we actually remember our memory even when we are inside our mommy's stomach, when we are not yet a born child. We can remember exactly what our mom says. When our memory, when our brain starts to develop, it registers and it forms our so-called life. And so no matter how much we try to erase and we thought we have forgotten, if we come back to a place that can remind us of that memory, if we can name the incidents that happened within that situation, immediately you come back to remember that memory. And it's important here to know that we cannot forget, we disconnect, but we don't lost it. So I would like to share an example. There's one time I was doing a defense for my research, and suddenly I feel so pressure. I start to have tears. I was so scared, and then I feel very shame because I was crying. So I was feeling shameful. I was feeling fearful, and I push it away so I can be strong. And I keep pushing it away every time I feel scared that I have to give a talk. But by pushing it away, I realize sometimes that every time when I face the unknown of a situation where I have to show myself, I always have that same feeling, because the things that is unresolved, it follows us, and it doesn't end when we don't think of it, because it's like a shadow that even if we put a different face to show others, it still exists. And what happened is it creates a pathway inside our brain. Why is it that some people are more sensitive of something compared to others? Because they had that life experience and reinforce it. So I feel shame. And so now I watch a presentation, I see somebody who is also struggling and maybe feeling scared to do a presentation. I can resonate with that. It reinforces my fear. And then, maybe someone comes in and feels like very shameful of something. I know how that feels. I experienced it too, and I'm looking at that and I can drop tears because it's triggering my own experience. So we learn habits. Our brain also learns habits, and it drives pathways, and it creates our reaction based on the things, even if we have disconnected, but still exist inside us. And then it lives in our system. It lives in our body. So for example, myself, I always feel very scared that people would judge me. So I tend to be very people pleasing. Okay, so here's what you see, okay? My shadow is a fear of people would judge me. I don't like it, I push it away. So I wear a mask that I'm a nice person. I will be people pleasing. But every time when I please people because I'm scared, it reinforces in my brain and it makes my body shrink. So for so many years in my life, I'm over 30 now, for so many years in my life, I walk with a shrink shoulder and a hunchback. And when people talk to me, I would not look up because I'm scared. And it creates a very bad back because I'm always sitting on a desk to work with my clients now. And so I have a very bad back pain every time when I finish work. So you see, it manifests into our body, and this is a very simple one. Some people have gastric because they're so stressed. Some people who are thinking so much. Thank you so much. You're so kind. Thank you. Yes. And the important thing is, if we know all this, we can change. We have the power to change. If we don't know, and then some of us just check in just now and said, I don't know. How are you feeling? I don't know. Or I feel tired. Why are you tired? I don't know. I feel exhausted. I feel angry. Why? I'm just angry. So we don't know. But if we start to know that some of the things have been disconnected, and we can know, and we can come back, and we can care for that part that need us, then we can change. And so now I don't have that back pain anymore because I started to do yoga. I started to learn to sit straight up. I started to learn to have a warm hand, rub my hand warm, and just place it on the back of my back every time it's pain, and feel it and ask, do you need a rest? How can I support you? Maybe the food I eat. You see, so my point is, if we know what we know now, we can take care of ourselves. And if we don't know, then what happened is, scientifically has been researched that this connection shows the danger similar to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. So even if you don't smoke 15 cigarettes a day, but you wake up feeling exhausted, feeling like your system is so tense, so tired, it's explainable. There's so much more research showing that this connection is even more dangerous than pollution. Well, that would double the risk if you start smoking. Good one, but there's better way as well. So you see, it's not a healthy, it's not a fun thing. It's difficult, but it's not healthy. If we have an inactive body, that's very dangerous. 15, 14. Okay, first of all, that's not good, but then it's going to waste a lot of money. Would you like to know another way, to solve this situation? I'm joking too. Okay, so where I'm landing is that's why it's normal if we seek for help, or sometimes we feel like it's too much. This is a research shows that in the mid of last year, 34% of 4,000 people who called Befriender, which is the biggest mental health free hotline in Malaysia, and showed 34 of 4,000 calls. That's huge. It's related to the pandemic, and 1/3 of that is suicidal nature. And last year, the statistic of suicidal has increased 20% over the previous year. So when we think of suicidal, some people think, why they do that? What's in their mind? Are they crazy? Why are they so weak? Or is that they're bored, they have nothing to do? But the truth is, the people who have come to this stage are the people whose internal environment is bombard them with too much anxiety, depression, stress, all these different thoughts and emotions, and they want to explode. They want to relieve, and they don't know how. They cannot tell it to anyone. And if they do, people would advise them to be strong. They don't understand what they're going through. And at some point, it's too overwhelming, and they thought they want to release it once and for all. And that's the only way. So it's not because they are weak, they have nothing to do, or they are crazy. It's because the internal system is just too much. And that, when people actually research the shape of people who actually suicide, the shape when it lands, let's say they jump and land on the ground, shows that at some point there was a struggle of resisting that action, but it was too late. Because when we are moving our body, we start to realize there's different ways. But when we're rigid and stuck, we are captured into that world and we cannot see otherwise. So if ever someone comes to you and says, I feel like I just don't know what to do, I want to end it all, know that it's not because they're weak or because they are, crazy. They just need someone to talk to. They just need someone to release it out. And maybe the best thing you can do is just to sit, to listen, and maybe to offer them to some place where people would professionally know how to listen. And that would make it so much easier. So given this context, I want to stop and pause here for 1 or 2 minutes and see if anyone have any questions. If it makes sense, you can unmute yourself or you can type before I move on to the next part. Right, as you're reflecting, as you're thinking, where I am speaking since, the moment I start is it's normal that we may feel stress, that inside our system can, sometimes be a place of stress for us. And it creates a natural sense of disconnection to cope. But if we continue to stay in that disconnection, it's not healthy for long. So how would this reflect in your life right now? How does it reflect in the way you are treating your challenging emotions when you feel stressed, when you feel overwhelming, when you feel tired? Do you ignore it? Do you judge it? Do you just move on and try to do what you think is everybody is doing that's the right thing, and maybe you want to care for yourself and you don't know how? Yes. So what about anger issues? How does this relate to everything? A very good question. Please send in more questions and I will address that. All right. So anger issues. All of our emotions are healthy, even if they look like they are something others might judge or we might judge. Anger, jealousy, competitiveness, like, disappointment or that kind of stuff, whatever emotion it is. Yeah, anger. So now coming back to anger. When this emotion becomes something overwhelmed, whatever emotion, anger, any other emotion, is overwhelmed. It's taking over you. It means there is a suppress of collective angers or any of whatever emotion you're experiencing over a prolonged time, and we didn't acknowledge or we didn't recognize it. We push it away, but it's still there. So become collective, and at some point we burst out of anger. So it's just like a glass. You can see on, a glass of water. At some point, it's just overflow. And it could overflow on something that's very simple, such as, somebody just say a word and then you become so angry and you don't understand why you're so angry. The other person think like, why are you so angry? And so I don't know exactly what is the specific issue behind your anger. I don't know how long this issue has been happening. You can come and talk to me later personally and we can explore it, but it is related to something that is not being addressed inside. And at this moment, if it is exploding out, it's related to the fact that it's overwhelmed, it's too much, okay? What if disconnection is something that a person has done over many years? Oh, well, it is what's happening to all of us right now. We all have some part of us that's disconnected. It's something we cannot help because it's normal, as I shared, right? So what happened is all the symptoms that you're experiencing right now, I don't know what it is specifically in your life, but if you are feeling dissatisfied or overwhelmed or, tired or drained out or not functional in some sense, you have to push so hard to function, that is a signal to show that something inside is asking for your attention because it's been disconnected for so long. And what is it specifically? You got to come and talk to me because everyone has their own story, okay? Can you cure depression when you are not stressed at certain? Okay, can you be cured from depression when you're not stressed at certain time? Okay, first of all, it's normal to feel down, to feel sad sometimes. But what is depression? Depression is when you're having a normal life. Like here you said, not stress. Your family is fine, your study is fine. And then zoom, suddenly you feel depressed, you feel down. And then it stays for a day, it stays for 2 days. If it stays for 2 weeks, you are diagnosed as having depression. So you're asking if you are feeling depressed and it is not in stress time, it is a sign of depression. And is depression cure? 100%. It is possible to cure, okay? Anxiety is getting worse after you reach certain age. Anxiety is not related so much to age, even though it is, people who collect a lot of anxiety over time and not resolve it and disconnected to it will tend to have at some point in their life becoming a symptom. You can see it clearly that you have anxiety. All right. Okay. So does it get worse over age? Yes, it gets worse over time. But at what age you have, it's not depend on the age. Okay, I'm gonna go on with the last question. I'm gonna move on because after the talk, we can have more questions. I love this so much. I love that you are interacting with me and asking me so I can share directly to what you need. Please continue to do so. Any moment you feel you have a question, just type in and I'll come back and answer. Okay, so laziness, self-centeredness, and self-care. How do we know which is which? Oh, so good. This is so good. Laziness, self-centeredness, and self-care. I think this is so good for me to transition into the next phase that I want to talk, the next part of the conversation. First of all, laziness. I'm not sure what you mean when you say laziness because it could mean to different people. But through my general understanding, as I'm looking at it, if a person is not doing something that they should do and or they are not doing as hard working as others, or they wish they could have done something more, but then here they are watching TV, sleeping, eating, not doing anything, and then maybe even procrastinating, that is a sign of disconnection. That is a sign that you are not interested in the things you're supposed to do because inside you're tired, or you resisting what you are supposed to do, and so you do other things to make it feel better. Because if I keep doing those things I'm supposed to do, it's hard. It's just not easy. I'd rather do this thing. It's simpler. And that's a sign. Oh, but what is deeper? I don't know. So that's something very personal, okay? Self-centeredness and self-care. This is a very thin line because self-care involves self-centeredness in some sense that it's about me. I'm important. I'm the priority. And how I can care for myself. But sometimes people do this caring through demanding. I need this, I need that. Or when they, when they want to have luxury, I want to buy this, I want to buy that, I want to have more materialistic things to make me feel wonderful, to make me this person that have value. Maybe there's a thin line moving towards self-centeredness, which is nothing wrong. Self-centeredness is nothing wrong. Being important is nothing wrong. It's what you do with it. It's who you are when you are in the center of yourself, okay? But self-care is where I'm going towards now. Self-care. What do you care about in you? What is it in you that's asking to be cared for? That is very important. We think self-care is like people are doing yoga, people are wearing nice clothes, or people are eating nice food. They're caring for themselves. Okay, I can do that too. But deeper than that, Can you get in touch with yourself? Can you come back to how you're feeling, to how your body is feeling, to your truth, no matter what it is, and ask, what is it that is being asked more to be cared for? And that's where I would like to go into the next one, which is, how do we find connection with ourselves? And this is very important because it's normal to feel stress, to be overwhelmed, given the pandemic we're in. And it's normal to disconnect so we can function. But if we can't disconnect for so long, that's not good. So how do I connect again? And the formula is just very simple. It's the 4 letters that I type here. It's to face. Many people talk about, how can I be my authentic self? How can I be true to myself? How do I know who I am? It is to face yourself. It's to come back and meet you. And when you do that, the byproduct is connection. Because just like anyone else, when you stop and listen to yourself, when you welcome yourself as who you are, you know yourself. You start to empathize. You start to understand. And some part of you open up and you connect. And so, what is the first thing in this formula? Face. F. F stands for focus on what you can control. The first thing to connect to yourself is to get the distractions out of your focus, because many things we are ruminating, we keep thinking about, that's making us stress. We can't do anything about it. Can we change the coronavirus? Can we know what will happen in the future? Can we control our future 100%? Can we control other people? And just now I asked you about, can you forget your past? So can you control your thoughts and feelings? Many things we can't control. But there are many things that we can have access in our life. And that's the things within our control. We have our family, we have friends, we have our lecturers. Those are the people who we can have ability to reach out to. If we're feeling very overwhelmed, overstressed, we can, have emotional support hotlines. And here I put in a website. This is a 24 hours, hotline to help anyone who are having stress. It's free and confidential. Or you can contact me personally, and I will be here with you in my working hours. And most importantly, you have yourself. Because as a person working in mental health, I know that the answer is inside you, and only you really know what you need. But sometimes it's overwhelmed by like here you said, anger, disconnection, laziness, tiredness. You can't get in touch, but it's inside you and you know. So then when you are overloaded with all these emotions, it's important that we start to acknowledge our thoughts and feelings. And what I mean by acknowledge, it's because our thoughts and feelings are like the weather. Sometimes it's cloudy, sometimes it's like a blue sky, sometimes it's a dark, gray, gloomy day. And you cannot say, I'm going out on a date with my girlfriend now, oh, come on, don't rain, how can you rain and you start to be angry with the sky, right? Same with your thoughts and feelings. Like somebody just asked, when life is not stress, maybe I feel depressed. It's very normal. First, acknowledging that I notice I'm feeling tired, stressed, overwhelmed. I also have hope. I also have people around me in my life. Acknowledge. So start to acknowledge them. That's the first step. The second step is to come back into your body. And why? Because science has shown that it is our sensories that absorb the change and it will influence our brain. So let's say now, I invite all of us, I don't know how you're sitting, but just sit up straight, okay? Sit up straight with me and notice where your feet is. Press your feet onto the ground. Just press it as hard as you can. Feel that pressure in the ground. Feel the tension that's rising in your body as you continue to press down. Hold the pressure. Feel it. Let it go. Drop it out. Notice how you're feeling. Notice the sensations that's being expressed inside you. Okay, we can do one more. Okay, so maybe if you can see the screen, I'm not sure, but I can guide you. Okay, so push your shoulder up. Push it up. Push it as high as you can feel. Can you start to sense some tension on your shoulder? Maybe some stretching on your back. Push it higher. Hold that tension. Feel it. And then I'm going to ask you to drop it. How are you feeling? Yeah, good and better. Yes. Yeah, better. Relief. Yes. I also sense that my world suddenly become brighter, like it become lighter. And then I can get in touch with the moment better. All right? So let's try one more. You see on the screen, that's called a butterfly hug. So put your hands on your shoulder. Can you feel your hand as you're rubbing your shoulder right now? Maybe there's some tension. Maybe there is some stress point. Just gently rub. Feel the warmth and the touch of your hand. Feel how your shoulder is dropping, opening, releasing. You can also tap gently and say it's okay what you're going through. I'm here. It's okay. If you're tired, if you sometimes feel scared, whatever it is that you're feeling, acknowledge. I notice this. And it's okay. I'm here. Feeling the warmth of the arms, the hands, holding yourself, being here for yourself, without the need to change, without the need to ask for more. Just being here. That's all. All right? So take your time. You can come back into our space, noticing where you're sitting, noticing where you are, How are you feeling? Aha. Feel like falling asleep? Yes, that's a very good need. Maybe your body is asking you for more rest. Feeling contemplating. An openness that means something wants to allow to be heard inside. Feeling relaxed. Oh, so beautiful. Feeling like crying. That's a relief. Crying is very healthy. Feeling calm. Mm. And you breathe the calmness in and let it go. One more time, breathing in, hold it, and let it go. Sensing the tension is relaxed. One more time, let's have a breath together. In, hold it, set it free. What is the truth inside you right now? If your feelings and your thoughts have a voice, what is it asking of you to care for right now? I know that this is a safe space, that we are all here to care for ourselves, and what is shared in this space will only stay inside this space today. So what is truly inside that's asking for care? In me, it's asking me to slow down in my life and to appreciate me more, to acknowledge that I've done my best. This is what's being asked for of me in this moment. How about you? Yeah, wonderful to be more hardworking. That is a beautiful intention. Yeah. So as we are acknowledging in our space, coming back to ourselves, it's that simple. The key to this is to engage with ourselves with unconditional love. And if it is to give more attention to our health, it is to get in touch and trying to see what is it that is speaking to me, it's not clear. Or to resume a lifestyle of modification. Coming to those. There is no right or wrong. There is no I have not done enough. There is no judgment. It's just our truth, given the situation that we are in, given the nature of our body works, and sometimes life is very busy, that there are many things that we have not come back to, and it's asking us to come back to, and it's okay if that's anger, if that's tiredness, if that's laziness. Yes, unconditional love is like to be more allowing and accepting, because if we don't accept ourselves, who will? And even if others accept us, but we don't, can we really connect and help ourselves? So what we have just experienced is acknowledging, coming back to this body with unconditional love and just be here. There is no advice. There is no what to do next. There's just me being here, listening to myself. And so connection is not about controlling or making sure things are happening a certain way. It's as simple as just noticing what's in me, coming back to my body with love and true acceptance. And with that, I would like to wrap up today's talk before we go into another Q&A session is acknowledging that, or maybe I can tell a story of that I love so much of this woman who, every day she would go down to a spring, a river, with two pail of, thank you so much, with two pail of pails to take the water up the staircase to go back to her house, just to cook, to clean, and to do the normal daily things. So out of that two pail, one pail is new and it's perfect. And the other pail is quite old and it has leaks. So every day that woman goes down, take water, carrying up, and then there's leak. And by the time she comes back home, there's just 1/3 of the water left. And she does this years over years and over years. And after many years, the leaking pail is just so impatient, cannot take it anymore. It says, I'm leaking and you're wasting your energy to carry me every day. Why don't you just throw me away and take a new pail? And the woman looked back and said, thank you for talking to me. So where this story is saying that inside us, there are many good things that we are doing well. But sometimes there are things that's just draining our energy out. It's just too heavy to carry it and it's not even performing. And that's the same as this woman carrying these two pails. But what the woman said was, but don't you notice? Because you are leaking, and do you know that I know you're leaking all these years, but I still carry you. Because look at how many beautiful flowers you are watering every day because of your leaking. And I'm thinking of my own life. There are many things that, I wish that I was able to do better, that I was good, I was, perfect in some way. But I also have my leakages. Many times I don't feel I'm good enough. I feel angry. I feel tired. I feel unreasonable. But in those times, if I come back to connect and to understand, I always see that, underneath it, behind it, lies a bigger reason, a bigger strength, a bigger motivation for me to do something. And over the years, those pain points in my life are the things that bloom into the person that I am today. It softened me. It makes me more understanding. It shows me where my strength is. It shows me where meaning of life is. And so where I'm coming with this story is that all these things inside us, it's our garden. It's our space. And sometimes certain things are not well. And we are also the gardener of this garden. And we can come back and connect and take care of ourselves, no matter what the situation is. Because a beautiful environment starts with me, with you, with ourselves, coming back, taking care, and have some awareness. How can where is it that I need care? And come back to garden and give love to that part. So to conclude today, I would like to show this photo. This is a photo taken on the last talk I had before the pandemic. I gave this talk in Vietnam's National Law University. And after the talk, so many people came up and just we have these warm hugs and we look each other in the eyes and we say that we are not alone, that it's okay. And so even though, I can't see everyone, you guys can see me a bit on the screen. I just want to send these warm hugs to you to let you know that we're not alone in this journey and that we can care for ourselves so that in return we can care for each other. So thank you so much to all the respected lecturers who are here for your beautiful reasons, for your time, and also the students here who have, have more awareness of how you can take care of yourself. And last but not least, I want to send this deep gratitude to Dr. Lan Nguyen, who is a beautiful example of love and kindness to me in my life, and I'm sure to many of us. So thank you. Yes, take care, stay safe to all. If you have any questions, you can ask me here or you can contact me, and I love to share more with you.
Yes, thank you so much, Miss Carrie Lance. I think the fact that all of us are sighing today, and for those who present here, you are caring for yourself. You already by signing into the section. I believe that you are already say out loud to yourself that you're caring for yourself. And actually, I was like tearing along the section as well as I go. I know I went through the exercise that you gave, and I believe others people might probably experience some sort of similar experience like I have. So we are so thankful to have you, and we feel like there's no boundary. I have students here, I have my colleagues here, but it just come down to a very simple basic, that is we are all human, and we are all connecting to one another, just like in soul with soul. So you are, I believe that you have connected to many souls here, and all you are all beautiful. And I hope that we will learn something and keep something for exercise or whatever that things that's we that you taught us today, as you can do it daily life on our daily life, and acknowledge the self-worth, what's beautiful inside us, acknowledge those, and and we can do it, we can go through this pandemics all together. So I have put what I call attendance form there, and also there's an icon of that. Let's say if you wish to have help, let's say Miss Carrie Lam, she is very kind, very generous, and she is willing to have that 1 hour free talk. If you wish to talk to her, and but to but she is a very busy person as well, so you need to put your phone number and things like that if you want to book for the section and so on, right? And you can see her, right? I don't have to express so much. I don't have to say a lot of, but you can see her through the sections today. So how caring and how beautiful her soul is. With that, on behalf of the Faculty of Management, on behalf of the university, we thank you so much, and we are very grateful that to have you here today. And we hope that many students would find a new journey, or whatever that they announce other stuff as well. That journey, the new journey. See, tomorrow is brighter than today, and we can walk all the way down until the end of the tunnels, and we stay strong. And so we wish you to be healthy, we wish you to be safe, and wish you to be always like as beautiful as you are like this, always. So thank you so much. Yeah, we have a feedback form that I put there. So this is Miss Carrie Lan. She wants to get the feedback from all of you as well, but how she can do, more and things like that, address the issue of of others more in the future. So could you please help her to fill in that feedback form as well? Yeah. And can I just request that can we have a group photos? So you can switch on your camera. I can get the snapshot from my side, just to have a souvenir for our sections today. Yeah, that would be wonderful. You can, switch on your camera if you're comfortable. Yes, with. Um, so I will take a snapshot, okay, from my side.
Oh, so wonderful to see you.
Yeah, it's good because we are all lonely in our own side, and to see faces, beautiful faces, that sort of like already a medicine
Yeah,
that
you're right.
connected to one another, and to support in the way, just see each other like this. I think we will be able to just support it, each other in a way that, um, I'm here, you're there, we are all in this together. So we will wait for more, to just, if you wish to, um, prepare yourself, you want, to make up, touch up, or whatever. Okay, just get some more people to come up, and I will take the photos. Yeah. Don't worry, you're all beautiful, even without makeup and whatever. Yeah. So I will get the first, snapshot. I will copy that one. Okay. And I will get another one after this. Yeah. Right. Okay. There's one snapshot already. Okay. Uh, so I will get another one. Okay. So I will get another one. Right. Yes. Thank you so much. Yes, I got the snapshot. So yeah, that's beautiful. Right. So yeah. Right. Okay. So I will save that. And yeah, I will send to all of you the snapshot, okay, or the photos to all of that who are present today. So once again, thank you so much. I wish you a very pleasant days, a safe, healthy, and a wonderful weekend ahead, and many days ahead, of ours. Our life will never be the same, and you would get, just stay strong, and safe. We are, together. So you pray for one another in this journey. Yeah. Thank you so much. So with that, I will just conclude the section, and we will say goodbyes to one another. Thank you.
I would like to sit here with you till the last person, and I felt you have spoke so beautifully. It just touches my heart, and it's so wonderful to just be here. Yeah.